Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk face off this Saturday in what's probably the biggest fight you could make in boxing right now. Um, it's for the unification of all the heavyweight belts. Tyson Fury, the lineal champion, the WBC champion. Usyk, he has the rest of the belts. Fury is minus 125 favorite. Usyk plus 100 underdog. It's you ask 100 people, like you're probably getting damn near 50-50 splits. I mean, it's just such a tough fight to predict a winner for. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's such a big fight and the stakes are so high for this one. Um, just quickly before we break it down, I did want to quickly go through some history of these fighters, just to a few of their last fights, just to kind of refresh people's memory on where they are in their careers. So we all remember Fury going up against Wilder in that like legendary trilogy. You know, each guy got dropped a couple times, and in the end, it finished with the one draw, and then Fury finished Wilder twice. And then Fury went on to finish Dillian White, Derek Chisora, and then he had that fight against Ngannou recently that we all remember. And then going over to Usyk, he fought Anthony Joshua twice for Joshua's belts and defeated him twice pretty convincingly. And then he had a fight against Daniel Dubois where there was a controversial low blow in that one. Usyk got dropped with a body shot, but they called it a low blow. A lot of controversy, and Usyk ended up getting the win. So Usyk is 21-0, Fury's 34-0-1, two top 10 unanimous pound for pound fighters. This is such a tough fight for me to predict. Do you have a winner that you think is going to win?
I mean, for me, kind of like what you're saying, it's basically a toss-up. So, I've been kind of trying to get my head around who I have. And after I've thought about it, I think I'm going to lean Fury. I mean, a big factor for me, Fury 6'9", Usyk's only, I believe, 6'3". Also, I think Tyson Fury fights around 275 pounds and Usyk's kind of 225-ish. So big kind of weight and height discrepancy, and there also is going to be a reach discrepancy as well. I mean, we all kind of saw in Fury's last fight against Ngannou, kind of Francis shocked the world, and everybody. What was Fury like, minus 3,000 or whatever he was?
Something ridiculous.
And like some people like say to this day that Ngannou won the fight. But I just kind of think maybe Tyson didn't come out as prepared. Kind of thought it'd be kind of a walk in the park, and with kind of Usyk in his last fights, he kind of, convincingly beat Joshua back-to-back times. And then the last fight, like you said, there's somewhat of a controversy. So, but I just think that, Tyson, he's really good. He's got really good defense. And, the fact that he was able to drop Deontay Wilder multiple times, and the fact that Deontay Wilder, the most power in all of boxing, dropped him and he just got up no matter what, kind of makes me think that, Usyk won't be able to finish him. So I think if Usyk's going to win, he's going to have to probably, out technically box him, take it to the cards, try to win a decision. But I think I'd probably take Fury to finish him probably in the late 9, 10, 11 rounds for me. It's kind of what I came to after some thinking. What's kind of your prediction if you have a solid one right now?
Yeah, I mean, all along I've always been a really big Fury fan. So when people were kind of bringing this fight up, I was like, oh, Fury's gonna win that one for sure. Like I got Fury. But I don't know. Like the more ever since that Ngannou fight, it kind of turned my thoughts on it a little, leaning towards Usyk. I mean, one thing that like I do agree with what you said, how maybe Fury kind of didn't take that fight as serious as he should have, and I do think that he's taken this Usyk fight really serious. So maybe I'm wrong for kind of putting that Ngannou fight against him, but it just, I don't know, just felt weird to me. And another thing worth noting too, I know he was on like the Mike Tyson podcast and he was talking about how he fought this shorter fighter and he had issues with him. And Usyk's a bit shorter, so I mean Usyk's about as good as you can get technically. So if Fury has issues with shorter fighters, that could be one way where where Usyk can kind of do some damage there. Like also too, this fight was initially scheduled for February, and then Fury had the cut, so they rescheduled it for Saturday. I wonder kind of how that's gonna play into this fight too, like, because I heard Usyk was dialed in, ready to go, and then kind of postpone it. Maybe that'll screw up his camp where he was peaked and ready to go, and then maybe he could have overtrained or whatever, where Fury probably took some time off. And I heard Fury's fired up and ready to go right now. So do you think that has any effect on the fight?
I mean, potentially for Usyk, I could see, because you're kind of saying people are saying he's as locked in as they've ever seen him, and he was kind of just mentally prepared for February now that it got moved back. But I mean, I think we're talking kind of the top of their game. I think when it comes game time, like these athletes take the time.
I mean, both guys were preparing for the same date, so
yeah,
maybe it did affect one way or the other, but I feel like you can't really use that as an excuse.
And I think kind of this is a big fight for Fury, because I think he kind of wants to go down as one of the best heavyweights of all time. And Usyk's older than him too, so you can't really say yeah, I was past my prime. Like, if you lose this one, I think being undefeated and like going out undefeated and beating kind of the best heavyweights of your time, which would be Usyk and which would be Wilder, and potentially if he wins this, maybe we'll see Joshua as well. So I think it's a huge fight for Fury's legacy, to be honest, and I think he knows that, and I think John Fury's in his ear telling him, "Gotta protect the Furies," and I think he's ready to go for the fight, and I think it's gonna. I don't know. I think Usyk should be ready to go as well too, basically.
Yeah, I would say both guys are can't wait to get into that ring to settle it once and for all. I kind of ducked your question a little bit. I didn't give my prediction, but
Yeah.
I just think when I'm looking at how people can win and like pathways to victory, kind of like you mentioned, I don't know if I really see Usyk knocking Fury out. I mean, anything's possible. I know Fury, he had a cut that postponed his fight, and he's had cuts before in the past, so maybe Usyk can open up a cut and it's a doctor stoppage, who knows? But I don't really see Usyk knocking Fury out. I mean, after getting put on the canvas by Wilder like that and just resurrecting yourself, it's just hard for me to imagine anyone knocking you out. But on the flip side, I can see Fury getting a knockout. I mean, he's much bigger. We kind of mentioned the size and weight discrepancy. So if he can really use that, and maybe I would look for Fury to try to land some big uppercuts too. I mean, he knocked out Dillian White with a big uppercut, and Usyk kind of the shorter guy. If they get in tight, I feel like he could land some big uppercuts there. But yeah, it's just in that way. Maybe I do think Fury's gonna win because he can win by knockout or decision. But I do think I'm just gonna rock Usyk by decision. Honestly, I mean, it's razor thin. I could see this being a split decision either way, but I think gun to my head, I'm just gonna pick Usyk.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'd say probably on the behalf of Usyk is his recent opponents have, I think, been a tier above Fury's, because really since Wilder, Fury's fought Dillian White, which that's a pretty solid opponent, but Derek Chisora was a washed up bum. Like no one gave Derek Chisora an ounce of respect for kind of that fight, giving him a chance to beat Fury. And then also Ngannou, who first boxing fight of his career, and made it a questionable decision, dropped Fury. So I think Usyk's kind of had the more difficult opponents recently in the ring. So I think that potentially could be an advantage for Usyk, but I don't really think he's fought anyone on the level of Fury, because arguably no one's on the level of Fury. But I think they've both kind of been here, and yeah, this other guy's better than me, and he's gonna wipe the floor with you. And I think they're just ready to get this settled. So I think it's just gonna be a great fight.
Where do you stand on the fact that we saw Fury go to such a tightly contested fight with Ngannou, and then we watch Ngannou go back in the ring, and Joshua just flatlines him within 2? I mean, do you think Tyson Fury's been boxing a long time. Could he be washed? I mean, I don't think so, but I could see how one could make a case based off the fact that, I mean, like you said, he fought washed up Chisora and then barely beat Ngannou by the skin of his teeth. I mean, you could argue that maybe Fury's past his prime, and it could show in this fight, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that. I mean, but kind of what I'm thinking is the Ngannou one. I think Josh was a worse stylistically matchup for Ngannou than Fury was, because Fury's kind of the bigger guy, likes to use his jab, and doesn't, really just shoot for, big bombs that kind of put you on the canvas. And like he just got pieced up by Joshua, and then got, put to sleep with that big right hand. And I don't know. I think I don't think Ngannou's a bad, I think if Ngannou and Usyk fight, I think Usyk would win for sure, but I don't know if he'd knock him out like Joshua did. I think he kind of just piece him up for kind of 12 rounds, 10 rounds, whatever they go, and kind of just outbox him. But I don't know. I think the Joshua fight made the Ngannou Fury fight have less credibility on Fury's side, because Joshua made it look so easy. But I think honestly Ngannou's a solid opponent. I'm a big fan, coming from our UFC side of things, but I don't think that's a really, easy fight and indicates Fury washed. But the Chisora fight, I mean, he didn't really look great, but he didn't have to do much to beat Chisora. So I don't know. I wouldn't say he's I don't think we've seen enough to say Fury's washed at the moment. So, but if he comes out and he gets dismantled by Usyk, might have to hang him up for Fury, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, again, just to make it clear, I don't necessarily think that. I just wanted to throw that into the air to get your thoughts. I mean, it has been a long time since we've seen Fury competing at a high level, sort of. Whereas Usyk, we've seen him recently against Joshua. What do you think happened? If Fury wins, I think you'd probably do Fury Joshua. I think is what they're gonna try to do. But I mean, if Usyk wins, would you want? I don't know if you'd run back Joshua Usyk for a third time, but I don't know what you do then.
Let's say Fury wins. I think Joshua. I think that's just kind of the fight everyone's it's been going on for too long. Get it done, boys. But if Usyk wins, potentially Fury Joshua, winner gets Usyk. Could that be a possibility?
Oh, actually, I forgot they have an immediate rematch clause.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
I think that's true. So I think we'll see this fight twice.
I'd imagine Tyson would want a rematch for sure. If Usyk gets knocked out in the first few rounds, I guess I didn't know they had a rematch clause. So that I guess we'll see it again. But I mean, let's say one of them wins both fights. I think that'd probably be it for Fury if he loses 2 in a row.
Yeah, probably it'd probably have to be.
Yeah.
You have any props you like for this fight? I mean, Fury by KO plus 300, Fury by decision plus 220, Usyk by decision plus 220. Anything like that? Fight to go the distance minus 200.
I mean, I'd potentially potentially pick rounds 9, 10, and 11 for Fury to get a finish potentially. I'm not sure what the odds would be on that, but also Usyk by decision. I think if you're gonna go bet Usyk, I wouldn't even bother with the money line. I'd probably go with the decision.
I mean, you go from plus 100 to plus 200.
Yeah,
and I do think if you're picking Usyk, I think you gotta go by decision. I mean, Fury rounds 9 to 12 is plus 700 if you think he's getting a late finish. I think my favorite bet for this fight is actually either fighter to win a split decision at plus 450. I just think I mean both it's not one of these guys is necessarily the face of of boxing over the other. They're both incredibly big in the sport, so it's not I think anyone's gonna get preferential treatment on the cards. And I think it's just I think this fight goes down to the very wire, and I think we could see various different scorecards. I mean, people are going to have their own biases. Some people could be a Fury fan, some people could be a Usyk fan. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, any other thoughts on this fight?
I think we covered it for the most part. Yeah.
Yeah, should be a good fight. I mean, just kind of looking at the schedule too while we're on the topic of boxing. Your boy Deontay Wilder's got a fight scheduled up here, June 1st.
I saw
actually the underdog against Big Zaylee Zhang. I don't know. I mean, I guess Wilder looked pretty shit in his last fight, so that's probably part of the reason why. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean,
I think I'd probably favor him in that one, to be honest.
Always nice to sprinkle a little on Wilder KO.
Yeah. Yeah, then coming up we got Benavidez and Tank Davis on the same card. That'll be a good night of fights. Yeah, we just had Canelo with his fight, and they're talking about doing that Canelo Benavidez fight. I would love to see that. That would be
Yeah,
a
yeah.
great fight. I mean, Benavidez is a beast. He could be a future pretty high up on pound for pound. So, and then I guess another fight worth chatting about here is Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. Jake Paul, the favorite, -200. Mike Tyson +160. It is like an official fight. This goes on the records. I think it's 2 minute rounds. Uh, yeah, basically 2 minute rounds. I think. Um, who do you got in this fight? I got no idea what to think of
I
this.
mean, I'm praying against it, but I like just my brain common sense just tells me it's Jake Paul. Like, I mean, like Tyson's 57 years old?
I
Is
know.
that
But
what he
have you
is?
seen him cracking the pads
I
though?
know, but like he had who was his, exhibition? He fought like another kind of,
Boy Jones or something.
yeah, and like I kind of watched like a bit of that, and he kind of looked pretty, like he had everyone was going on before the fight, like, oh my god, did you see that video of Mike Tyson sparring? Then he gets in there, and it's kind of just like two old farts like playing volleyball at a park, and I'm like okay,
I
but
think that could be different though because like both of those guys are kind of they're both old, they're both kind of legends, so they might not have really been given it a full go. But I mean, there's no way Mike Tyson wants to go out there and lose to Jake Paul. I mean, like
but
he's
but
widely regarded as one of the greatest boxers of all time. So to put his legacy on the line, like this goes on the records. I don't know. I could see Mike Tyson just seeing red and coming out first round, just swinging for the fences and just putting Paul out. I'd love to see it.
yeah, but to be honest, I think Jake Paul kind of masterclass this situation where like if he wins, he'd be like, yeah, I beat Mike Tyson, yada yada. But like he loses, I lost to Mike Tyson. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah.
like there's not much downside for him, and like it's gonna make a shit ton of money. And
Hmm.
I'd like there's nothing more than I'd love to see than Mike Tyson come out and starts Jake Paul, put him unconscious. But like I just how many rounds is do you know how many rounds the fight is? 6, 8 rounds probably.
Uh, I can pull it up here real quick.
Because
But
like
nothing would hurt my soul more than to see Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson. Yeah, it's
yeah,
gonna be 8 rounds.
but like, do you think if Tyron Woodley and Mike Tyson got in there right now, you take Tyson?
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like, I don't know what to think. It's just like Mike Tyson's like a borderline senior citizen,
and
but like I just as a boxing fan, I just don't think I can like pick Jake Paul official like on record. I just can't.
yeah,
I don't want that out on the internet.
no, I mean, praying for like I just think that Jake wouldn't. I feel like Jake's just he like with all his fights, like he's planned it. Like he kind of knows he's gonna win. Like I think he only takes opponents where he kind of knows he should win. But I mean, it's Mike Tyson, so like if he gets cracked, like Jake's not really been hit except that one fight against Woodley where he got bounced off the rope and like
Yeah,
barely stayed in the ring. But like if Mike Tyson like cracks him to the body, like we've seen in some of these sparring videos, like I don't know if Jake Paul is gonna just like be able to keep going after that. To be honest,
yeah. Well,
but like,
it'll be
can you?
exciting to see how
Yeah,
that plays out.
yeah,
Um, yeah, Fury Usyk this Saturday. I'm pretty fired up. Is this the biggest boxing like I would say this and Spence Crawford are like probably the two biggest of the decade
yeah.
so
I
far.
mean, I'd say like if Crawford and Canelo fought, that'd be
Yeah.
like
I
potentially,
heard that's what Turkey wants to do next. I mean,
yeah.
that would be a crazy fight, but yeah, I don't even know what to think of that, but
Yeah. I'd say this is probably definitely like a top three, like biggest hype fights you could probably make in boxing at the moment for sure.
definitely. All right, well, we'll be back soon with another video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you later.